Biggest mistakes that I've seen in my career came from people who would start the conversation with, my friend told me so.
Whatever you do, you're like, oh, you sign a rental agreement for your apartment. It's like the 10-pager.
I can help you in advance. I can help you plan. We can make a plan of, I'm going to tell you what is the legal way to do things.
Yeah,
when you get out of status, then things become harder. And also the asylums. Oh my God, don't do the asylum. Like
that's such a big thing. I heard it.
Yeah.
So
tremendously
so
bad
many
idea.
people do that.
A person with a plan. You need to have some kind of a plan. I don't think that that it should be a big plan. You don't have to say to yourself, I'm gonna be CEO of Microsoft one day. But you need a plan. Why? If you don't, you're gonna find yourself after 10 years stuck in the very same place when you came. That's what I'm saying. Have a plan. I know a lot of people and people that I helped that had a plan that right now are doing an amazing job in their fields. Find a way to come here first on a tourist visa, for example. Get a grasp of what United States is.
I thought about it a lot, how to start a conversation, and it's just the traditional things of doing things, they don't fly anymore.
Right.
You have to do something different, something engaging, something. So, but I got a lot of stuff. I was thinking actually, how many subjects do we have to talk? It's lawyer and immigration and stuff. It's so vast, and also it's difficult to narrow it down because sometimes I have a podcast 2-3 hours.
Right.
Sometimes it's 45 minutes.
Right.
Depending on the subject. And attention span is 15 seconds now. So to have people listen for an hour, someone tells me, oh, I listened to the whole podcast, I'm the happiest person in the world. Someone actually is like, oh, for my first time, you got 100 views. I'm like, because, oh, that's only 100, and then 600. I'm like, only 600? I was like, for me, 600? 600, I just imagine people, like 600 people around us listening to what we're saying.
Right.
Taking 1 or 2 hours of their time that's, when you see views, see number, it's low, but just thinking about it, you have 10,000 views. Oh, it's not that much, but you have 10,000 people, just a whole arena of people looking at watching what you're saying.
Right.
So it's great. So how long are you staying in Miami?
So until Sunday, I'm flying back on Sunday.
Is it a business trip or pleasure at the same time?
Yeah, no, it was purely a business trip. So we had an interview down in Orlando, and after Orlando, I drove to Miami because we are trying to set up an office here. Hopefully by the end of May, we're gonna have a functional office here.
That's amazing. How many offices you have?
So right now, 3. The main office is in Chicago, in Mount Prospect. Then we have an office in New York, and now we are working on the Miami office.
That's amazing, expanding that fast. How many lawyers you have working?
Right now, 4 lawyers and 2 paralegals. We're gonna expand, of course. Once the office becomes operational.
It's a matter of time. But it just matters. So many offices. I can imagine how much work is it putting just to do what?
Yeah. The workload is heavy, but yeah, we can do it.
It's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. We are dealing here with human lives. Basically, we are trying to help as many people as we can.
That's something is that what motivates you in a way?
Yeah. Basically, that's why I chose to do this. Actually, I wasn't an immigration lawyer for my whole life. I was the most of my life. I was a corporate lawyer. Mm-hmm. I had my own company back home in Macedonia. We were like one of the top 3 corporate law firms over there. And once I came here, I transferred to immigration because I can see the change that I'm making in people's lives. That's not the case in corporate law. You're doing things for corporations. Yeah, you're helping the businesses and everything, but here you're affecting human lives directly. Yeah,
that's good. Corporation is just it's a big business, so you don't get the same feedback. You get more money, and people are like, companies see it, but when you actually help a person, that's something I can imagine.
Actually, there are more similarities than you think between corporate and immigration in terms of like those people who built those companies those companies are their life. So in one way, you also are holding their lives in your hands, but it's it's not that personal. Here with immigration, it's much more personal.
Yeah, immigration, especially the families and stuff you're dealing with, it's a lot of stuff. Yeah. So it takes its toll on you when you're working with many. Yeah.
That I'm trying to. And I never managed to distance myself completely from emotionally from my clients.
You're not a stone. It's impossible. You can't not just
absolutely. So, but I'm trying just for my health and to keep the sanity, and of course to keep my objectivity. That's the most important part. So I'm identifying myself with the client, but to a level that will not interfere with my objectivity. Because if that happens, I'm useless.
So how do you do? Meditation, yoga? I remember one of the lawyers I saw has a problematic case with some people that I know, and she was like stressed out. I saw it was like a whole shit show, and then we were talking to her, and she just switched, and she smiled, put it back on. But you can see that's just, it's a fix, but you have to, because if you continue, you can't let that.
Right.
You cannot drown you, especially hours of problems and dealing with things all the time.
Yeah.
So.
I'm like compensating with hours spent with my family, thinking about something else, talking about something else, basically decompressing like that. Sports, of course, when I can find time.
So I was thinking of a lawyer as a career. So to be perfectly honest, how much trouble would you be in if you're not a lawyer?
Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but yeah, being a lawyer, it's a double-edged sword. So when you know it's more difficult. When you don't know, you're like more relaxed because you don't know. You're
oblivious to the fact what's happening.
Correct. When you know the consequences, it's even harder.
So yeah, but I mean, there's when you're a lawyer. So okay, you're trying to do something, or a friend, or someone asks you to do something, and it's like, oh, don't do this. Can you stop yourself from actually giving legal advice?
Oh my God, no. Like once I get that question, the lawyer in me kicks in, almost immediately, and I'm trying to solve everyone's problems. I'm like, stop. This is not why we're here. Like, you're my friend. We are having a beer. That's it.
But it's difficult to just because especially lawyers. I remember even a long time ago, for a bit, I considered it for a career, and then in America, I was like, okay, so I want to work $80, $100 a week, so I don't have time for anything. I might make money in 10 years after, and I was like, this is not the American dream. This is not my version of American dream. It looks cool. I grew up watching lawyer movies, TV shows.
Right.
I was like, this is me. This is who I want to be.
Right.
But then when you realize, plus how much schooling, how much debt in here, it's just beyond reason. You finish college, back home, you finish college and you can do a couple of years and you become a lawyer. Here you finish college, no, you got to finish another college. And then, you want one more. And then, you're like 30 probably at that point. And you're like, no, you got to work for someone for like 3-4 years. And then you might, and then I was like, so what does it stop? So at 35, 38, you're like, I'm finding a career. And then you meet people burned out, overworked.
Yeah. Well, it's a hard road. But to get, and it's also the responsibility that waits you at the end of the road is huge. So yeah, many of us are going to law school just because of that. It looks like a great career. It looks like, I'm smart. I want to show everyone how smart I am. But then you realize the consequences of your actions, and then you're like fully graduated lawyer, fully licensed lawyer, and then all the responsibility kicks in. You're responsible for other people. Yeah,
that's something when you're responsible in whatever you do in life. There's responsibility involved, your family, your job. But a lawyer actually, and people, especially an immigration lawyer, dealing with, people are in and out of this country here trying to solve existence.
Correct.
And existence is like fighting for survival, fighting for anything. So and it's a lot of peculiar small details when you're filling out the paperwork. So mistakes happen.
Right.
But you go through like page 100,000. How much coffee you need to have not to make like a small mistake? And they probably do one letter difference. It can be a whole
absolutely
mess.
In our job, details matter. Like we have to scan everything through with a fine tooth comb just to find any inconsistencies. The case must be done perfectly if for the client to get what he wants. How many
revisions? You have how many people actually go through the stuff so they can make sure that doesn't happen?
Our firm, it's always 2 or 3. So we have a system of control to ensure always that the quality of the case is going to be top notch. Like we are never, because most of the cases are 200, 300 pages long.
Yeah.
And we have to even more. So it depends. More complicated cases like extraordinary ability ones, they can go 500, 700 pages.
That's the whole Bible. That's so 700 pages of. It's not like something that doesn't matter on those pages.
Absolutely, you need to check that everything that's on the first page consistent with the other 700. So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And still, even after all that control, mistakes can happen.
Absolutely. So even if a mistake happens, it cannot be a fatal mistake. So that's why you're trained. That's why you're here. you need actually, we need to cooperate. We are cooperating with clients on multiple levels. They need to know that they need to be honest with us. We need the documents. We need to see everything. And then we are still not believing them and checking the documents again and again and again. So that just to be sure that they will get their their visa, that their dream will be fulfilled. Yeah, it's a very, very hard work and very responsible one.
What was your perspective? You said you were a lawyer back home, and now you're here. Okay? So imagine America one way. Probably watch TV shows like I did,
right.
and imagine, and then you're a lawyer there, and then you come here, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is different." Well, tell me about that a little bit.
Well, that was a crazy journey. So I was a lawyer back home. Out of the blue, I get a scholarship to Chicago Kent. So at first, I couldn't believe it. I was like, "No, this is a scam." Like,
how old were you when you got the?
I was when I got the scholarship. I was 31. Then I came in the United States when I was 34. Mm-hmm. So I'm getting the scholarship, and at first I don't believe it. So I'm not responding to the email. Then another email comes like, Philip, like I think that you're a great candidate. Like, why are you not interested in this? I was like, okay, this might sound genuine. So let's dig a little bit more. And they called me for an interview in Athens, in Greece. I went over there. They are like, would you like to do an interview on camera, or are you going to drive here? I was like, I'm going to drive. I'm going to come to Athens just to see whether this is legit or not. And I got it. So everything was legit. I got it. I came to Chicago Kent, and then another shock for me is like the American system, the precedent system, completely different from anything that we have on the Balkans, especially in Macedonia. So I had to start all over again. And I graduated from Kent. After I graduated from Kent, I took the bar, passed the bar for my very first try. And then I was recruited in this immigration law firm. Again, huge shocker. I was a partner level material. I was a partner at my own firm. Mm-hmm. Now I came here and I need to work for someone else. And I was like, it was a huge cultural, and I must say, an ego shock for me. But I got over that.
It's difficult. I can imagine just starting from scratch when you're like, okay, I'm a lawyer, I know things, and then I was like, oh, like that has. I think it can make correlation with NBA players.
Exactly.
They're like playing in Europe and in basketball, they're the best player. They come here, or a rookie. Someone was talking about a story. Oh yeah, get me my sneakers. And he's like 30 years old. It was like, what do you mean? I'm not gonna do that. I'm 30 years old. But you have to swallow your ego. Okay, correct. Start from scratch.
Absolutely. And here the intensity of work is like a lot higher than what we are used to in Europe. The law firm where I worked, because I came here as a student, I had to work for my visa. So the intensity of the work that I faced, wow, like it was ridiculous. But yeah, I pushed through that, fell in love with immigration law, and then said, okay, let's do this.
Yeah, it's a good thing to have perspective, because you're immigrant yourself.
Absolutely.
You have a perspective of what is actually immigrant feels. You know, you have someone, I mean, I can imagine people here, lawyers too have, even Americans, they feel it, but it's different when you actually filed their visa, you went through the whole process, now you're helping other people do the same thing different ways.
Exactly. Their story is my story. That's what I'm always telling my clients. Like, I can completely understand what you're going through. That's why I'm here for you, even when I explain something 7 times, and I will explain even the 8th, because I know how scared you are. I've been there. I've done that. I'm always trying to be proactive. Like I'm always the corporate law. So when I was practicing corporate law, it teach me to problem solve. So because I'm a problem solver, I have like an unorthodox approach to immigration law, combining my corporate experience in that. And that's why I'm like always trying to find the best solution for my clients. Like I'm not giving up. I'm always trying, like if you cannot do plan A, we can have plan B or plan C.
Yeah, but you did in America. You only did immigration law, or you did corporate law?
No,
here?
in immigration in the United States, I did only immigration law.
So that's a different perspective. We don't even have kind of immigration law back home. It's
correct.
So it's not even a thing
it's
here.
Scarce. Yeah.
Here's a couple of like four options in America, like 5 options to become a different lawyer careers. You know,
right.
Got to specialize in something. You know?
Yeah.
Imagine it was a tax. Who has a tax lawyer? And back home, I mean, we didn't have taxes until 30 years ago. So, but America is different. You have to learn a lot of new things, and it's so many small things here and the rules, laws. And also, how did you, being a lawyer? That's another level of not English knowledge. You gotta it's not like knowing the language, speaking the language. it's crazy level of English you have to overcome so you can actually be one of the other lawyers and talk to immigration. How long it took you to get adjusted to that? I mean, law school probably helped. You had to learn a lot of words. Even Americans, they go to school, you have just so many words you got to learn. So,
no, as a corporate lawyer, I dealt with many foreign companies. So I had a working knowledge of the English language. When I came here, I faced my accent. I'm coming to Chicago, Kent. I'm like, I sound Russian. Damn. Like, no, this is unacceptable. And also my master's is in trial advocacy. So that means courts, that means procedures, that means talking. So I was working a lot on my accent over the years. And I will never be fluent, that I know. I'm too old for that, but I'm definitely, I think that I got far.
You did. I mean, you don't notice. I mean, a lot of, it's difficult when you get old, when you're older, when you come to older. Even I think after high school, if you get here, it's really difficult to not have an accent.
Very true. For example, my daughter came here when she was 5.
No,
American,
no
American.
I think it's 16, 17. Absolutely. I think whoever came in high school and then stayed, I think they speak English perfectly. But later on, it's so, especially you have a lot of friends, and even my accent gets so thick after I speak to my friends in our native language of Serbian, and I switch back to English. I'm still speaking. It takes time. Especially in Miami, we lose a lot of Spanish. So when you go back and forth, I don't even know how I sound anymore. And so it's really, really difficult to.
Also in my job, like I'm doing a lot of work in English, but also I'm speaking Serbian, I'm speaking Macedonian, so everything kind of interlaps, and it's funny.
It is. I have one of my friends here. He's from Serbia, but he's from a place next to Bulgaria. So but his parents he grew up in Macedonia.
Right.
So, and he speaks like 4 languages, and he studied in Sofia. And he goes and he learns Spanish. He's so good with languages, he speaks Spanish fluently. Right. So he just goes back and forth with 4 languages like it's nothing. And he came here like 23, 4. So, but also your brain gets accustomed.
Very true.
Practice. And also you got to invest your time in stuff. People say, I don't know English. Yeah, but how much effort you put
Exactly.
in? You got to put effort in.
Yeah, like you shouldn't allow something simple as a language stand in your way, like of a better job, better opportunities.
Yeah, but you focus on other things, and English is crucial. Yeah. If you don't speak the language, even people when they're doing business with you, I mean, unless they sense in you, but you can't. They don't look down on you, but they think they're always gonna have that in the back of their mind. Okay, he's immigrating, I can get away with it, and it's also annoying when you don't know what people are saying. You can joke when you can joke in the language, and then in whatever language, foreign language, it's different. Then you know the language. If you just don't understand the jokes, it's really difficult. Right. Americans don't take you in even that easy. If they don't. That
is true. There you can find, especially when you're doing like little bit higher skilled professions. Yes, you can face that. You can face people looking down on you, people thinking like he has an accent, he's stupid, and things like. It didn't happen to me personally, but for example, I had a colleague. She's Italian. She has very, very, very strong Italian accent.
Which most of Italians do. That's a thing.
Very true. So she was working with. So the firm where I worked, she got hired there as well. She's talking on the phone with the client, and the client is like, "You're not a lawyer. You don't even speak the language." I was like, "Oh my God." Thankfully, that didn't happen. It has never happened to me, but for her, it was very, very demeaning. Because she was a very, very smart lady, a very good lawyer, but again, you cannot judge someone by the accent. Like, just listen what she's saying.
People are weird. They go by that. Even my English was good even like a long time ago, like 6-7 years ago. And then I worked in a company, and then it was 2017, I think, was a hurricane in Florida that happened, whatever. And then I say hurricane. People start laughing at me. Oh, hurricane. I'm like, I never even used that word in English. And it was funny. Like today, Uber. But is it German? Is it American? Well, how you say it? So everyone says it differently.
Right.
So, but it's still jokes. You don't take it personally. But some people are really, offensive to someone. But it's still, you got to put effort. I think a lot of our people that forget, they just hang out in our community, and it's just English is, and it also you have limitations from doing different jobs.
Very true.
How are you going to do something if you don't know the language?
Correct.
You can't have, that's like basic stuff. Like, okay, earlier was Word, Excel. you have to know that, you have to know how to type on a computer. Whatever. Now it's English doesn't even say you have to know English. English is mandatory.
Absolutely.
And Spanish is a plus maybe, but no one's here. And then if you want to work at some serious job, you can. That's why a lot of people, it's okay. I don't have to. I'll just use whatever. And then they just get by. And then you get lazy. Then 10 years later, you're like in the same spot. And you get older, and it's really difficult.
Yeah, that's very true. People are just becoming complacent over the years, and they're like, now it's too late for me to start to learn English. It's not.
It's never too late.
Right.
It's never. You just put effort in. Tell me, what are the mostly do immigration law? What's the most common thing that you do? Most of the common cases and visas, or what's the biggest amount, or a couple of them, whatever keeps you the busiest.
Right. So we are covering the full spectrum of immigration law. So basically, family-based visas, employment-based visas, investor visas. Therefore, also removal defense. We are also going to court if the case requires it. Mostly, we are doing business immigration, so employment-based immigration, meaning green cards via employment. Always family visas are a big part of what we are doing. Whether they're fiancé visas or marriage-based green cards, family reunions.
So but it's so many options on the coming here. But at the end of the day, it's not. You think it's America's land of immigrants, built by immigrants, but it's so difficult. Even it's getting more and more difficult to come in and do things.
That's because people are not informed of their options when they come here to United States. Like I'm always telling my clients, don't go ask your friends what to do with your life. Get an advice from a lawyer. Ask if the person with whom you're speaking is a lawyer, because sometimes people are representing themselves like, yeah, I know I can help you, or I'm a lawyer, and they're not. Just to get informed of your options. In the United States, there are like two general ways to become a permanent resident. One is through family, and marriage-based, green cards, family reunions, and stuff like that.
I know, but do you mind just elaborating what exactly is like family? What's the option? How do you?
For example, you can become a permanent resident here if an immediate relative applies for you. What does immediate relative mean? A spouse and parents, and children. Those are immediate relatives here in the United States. So, for example, if you get married, we can apply for a green card. If your parents are citizens, they can apply for you. Depends on how old you are at the time of when they apply for you. Also, if your children are citizens, they can apply for you after they turn 21. That is the family-based portion of the immigration. The K-1 visa, the fiancé visa, is somewhere in between. It's non-immigrant, but immigrant with an immigrant intent visa. Basically, the government is giving you an exclusive permission to come to the United States to marry your fiancé, who will then, because he's a U.S. citizen, apply for you for a green card. Employment-based, that is where things become a lot more complicated. That means that you have a valid, first of all, almost all employment-based green cards and non-immigrant visas require an employer, meaning that you have a standing job offer from a company in the United States to come and work. The type of a visa, the type of the visa and the type of the procedure will depend on, of course, your skill level, your education, what the position is for. So from the EB1s, which are the extraordinary ability green cards, which means that you're so good at what you're doing, you're so extraordinary, and you have such accomplishments that United States is foregoing all the regular procedure and gives you a green card. But you need to get that determination. And just as an illustration, even the Congress is saying that only 2% of the world population are eligible for green card like that, meaning that they want the best of the best. Then is the EB2, which is for holders of advanced degrees and exceptional ability, so not extraordinary, but exceptional ability, like a level lower. Then is the EB3 for the professionals, skilled and unskilled workers where the company, depending on the position that they're requiring, can bring the employee from overseas. Also on the other spectrum are the non-immigrant visas, which means they're not a green card, but it's a work permit. So meaning that you're coming to the United States to temporary work for this employer, and then you have a whole spectrum of available visas. For example, ELS which is the transfer of an employee. If a company has a subsidiary abroad and wants to bring a worker from the subsidiary to United States, they're using a transfer visa. Then is the O visas, again, extraordinary ability visas, but with a lower threshold, evidentiary threshold than the green cards, where people who are remarkable are coming here to do some job for an employer. H-1Bs, which are right now the visas that all the fuss was about with the new administration, those are just the highly skilled workers, specialty occupations, meaning workers that have a bachelor's degree and above, who are coming here to work on specialty occupations and specialized positions for the companies, like software engineers, lawyers, doctors.
Something is really needed and
very true, correct. And then you have the e-visas, which are the investment visas. Again, if someone wants to invest in the United States, open a company, they can do an investment visa. But those are all non-immigrant, meaning that they will not lead eventually to a green card. You will need an employer to make additional step, an employer to make an additional step and sponsor you for a green card in the future.
So it's all a process. Nothing
Correct.
is happening. You apply, here you go, sir, and do whatever you like.
Absolutely.
It doesn't work like that. People, so I can imagine you do have like a phone number or email. How many people call you and they just, because people randomly, they're too lazy to go and look all that thing up that you said. Everything is on Google or whatever.
Right.
You can find information. But sometimes it's in English, you don't speak the language. So how many people actually call you? Oh, I want to come to America. How do I get there?
A lot.
So that's what do you answer to them? What do you tell them?
So it depends on their circumstances. Depends on the time frame in which they want to accomplish that. So most of the people I'm advising, so when they're abroad, that happens when they're abroad. Like I'm in, Macedonia, I'm in Serbia, I want to come to United States. What are my options? Well, the best option is, if you don't have a family here, the best option is employment-based visas. Or come study, come enroll in a school, and then see how you will like United States, where this is going to be a land of opportunities for you. If not, you can go back. But the employers are driving that part of the immigration.
And you tell them all of that. What
Absolutely.
do they say?
They're like, well, how we can find an employer? I was like, well, I don't know. I'm not a recruiter.
So there's still more questions, and the thing is, like someone's waiting. Oh, can I get a letter? Someone invites me, and I get there. It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that.
You think it's way simpler than it really is. But so you help a lot of people coming.
Absolutely. We're always trying to do our best in finding our client, presenting our clients a way for them to achieve their goals. If their goals is to come here permanently or temporarily, we can do that. Sometimes even the clients don't know about these options. When I started doing this 5 years ago, I was like, I needed to educate a lot of people about these options. When you have no idea, I'm talking to companies which are very, very prosperous companies that have built a huge portfolio of resources. And the owners of the companies are like grabbing their heads. They're like, we didn't know that this exists. Like, what are you saying? This is impossible. I was like, no, it's possible.
Yeah, that's. But you're doing a great thing. People think, you're facilitating someone's arrival to America, but you're also helping out the United States in a way. Because you're not just getting random people. There's a process. America needs something. Those people need America, and you just kind of help each other out. You help them help each other out, so you can.
Very true. It's a perfect match. So there is no downside to immigration. I'm always saying that. Immigrants are what driving this country forward. Literally, there is no downside to it. United States is getting the skilled workforce that they require to prosper, to thrive, and those people who are coming here are coming because they have acknowledged or they realize that this country has something to offer them. So basically, it's a perfect match according to me.
Yeah, it is. So, I mean, you actually, when you help someone come here, they go through the process, everything works out, everything's amazing. And then do they reach out to you, talk to them a couple of years later? What are the percentage of people like, oh, this is my American dream? Some of them, oh, this is too much. I went through all of this and it's not worth it anymore.
Very funny that you asked that. Always, so when I do a procedure with my clients, it's like sometimes there are multiple levels of the procedure, like multiple phases. Between one and first and second phase, there can be like 2 years of a difference. Every time when they come back, I'm like, okay, how is life with the green card? I'm always asking that. What changed? For some people, life changed a lot, and they are on their way realizing what they consider to be their American dream. They realize the opportunities. They're doing an amazing things. Other people are still trying to find themselves, but now they have the means to do and find themselves. So
it's all from person to person, of course.
Absolutely.
What I noticed, it's just, I'm asking because of the struggle. Let's say sometimes it takes a couple of years for people to go through the process to do anything.
Very true.
And then you do it, and then you're like, okay, then you got it, but you're actually not getting anything. You got a ticket to come in here, and then you still have to do everything else. That was just your way to get in here, and then you have to do. Then America comes in, and they're like, oh, you think, as I always like to mention, my dad and people his generation, they imagine you come to America, there's a tree, you just go and get money from the tree, and good luck explaining it's not like that. And people expect that. They have unrealistic expectations.
That's the biggest shock I think that most of the people are getting, like when they're focusing on, I need the green card, I need the green card, I need the green card. Okay, it will happen. And then what? That's the shock. Like, you still need to pay taxes. You still need to work. You still need to find your way, because nobody will give you anything until you get it yourself. So.
And you have to, you have 300 million people. They're all 330. They're all citizens. It's still poverty. It's still people don't have jobs. It's still,
absolutely.
So it's not like you get the green for us, because it's an achievement. You get here and then you get all of that. I also noticed that the grind from people who are, let's say you went through all the application, it took you a while, you apply, you went to school. It's a process. Then you appreciate it. And you say, okay, I work so much. And even sometimes when everyone wakes up one day and assuming, oh, maybe this doesn't make sense. I'm working too hard. Is it all worth it? You ask those existential questions. But, some people, I know some people that got the green card, a lottery. That's all other option. You get the green card like that. And they come here and they're like, oh, this is not what I expected. Then you do some
there's no money on the trees.
And they're like, okay. And then the year 2, they're back. And I just don't see the grind. But if you come here, you go through all the hassle, then you're like, okay, I went through all this. This better be worth it. So that's why I think that thing, whatever you're doing, and that you went through, and also explains those people who are actually going to do the same thing. You can tell them what's the end story. You can also tell them, educate them, not a psychologist, but tell them this is the American dream. Is not this is great, but there's another step afterwards. So.
Yeah, that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm telling everyone, America is for people with plan. A person with a plan, you need to have some kind of a plan. I don't think that that it should be a big plan. You don't have to say to yourself, I'm gonna be CEO of Microsoft one day. But you need a plan. Why? Because if you don't, you're gonna find yourself after 10 years stuck in the very same place when you came. Yeah, you will be a citizen. You will not have handcuffs on your hands, and you can do you can do whatever you want, and still you're stuck on the very same place. That's what I'm saying. Have a plan. I know a lot of people and people that I helped that had a plan that right now are doing an amazing job in their fields. Amazing. So I think that the best advice that anyone can get is before coming to the United States or while you're doing it, formulate a plan.
So also, did you tell them, also ask yourself what should everyone know before they even think about it? What's the thing you think everyone should think about before they think about, okay, I'm going to start process, I want to go to the United States?
Well, I always advise people that haven't been here, find a way to come here first on a tourist visa, for example. Get a grasp of what United States is. Everything sounds good when you're talking with your friends about it. They can tell you how they're living. But come and see if this country is for you.
It's difficult. A lot of people don't have that option also. It's difficult to just get to
that. Is true.
So, and everyone here, even, let's say people are struggling, but they're trying to sugarcoat it because it looks better for them. So you don't want to show that you're suffering here. You made it all the way here. You're working hard. You don't want to be like, oh, hey, I'm doing bad. Some people are. They don't care. But you just have to justify whatever. And you justify it to yourself because you have outside validation. So that's something different. That's great. Do you have any, I know you have the confidentiality agreements with the clients. Is there any interest, even if you know some interesting stories, the things that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened in my, I imagine you have a lot, but is there anyone you can share some?
Well, of course, I cannot disclose anything in particular. But the most proud that I am in these 5 years of working exclusively in immigration law is that we have managed to overturn, let's say, at least a dozen, almost impossible cases that other firms have rejected, where like very, very extremely talented individuals right now are doing amazing things in their fields. And those cases are the most that I'm in awe about. Sometimes, like most recently, we just won an appeal for an EB1 candidate. Huge thing. The guy is so talented. He will do great things here. There was an officer who didn't recognize that in the beginning. We won an appeal. He got his green card. I mean, so that is the cases that I'm most proud of.
That's something. Also, I mean, you're picking a lawyer. Let's say you're a random person, a regular person. You don't know about lawyers. You can check Google reviews, or you can have a friend recommend it. But what's a good lawyer? How do you pick a good lawyer?
You need to find someone that cares. I hate to say it, but a lot of immigration lawyers there are a lot of good immigration lawyers, but a lot of immigration lawyers are doing this just because it's a job. In immigration, it's not a job, it's a calling. So calling in terms of, you're doing it for money, you're earning, you need to pay yourself a salary and things and everything, but you need to care for the people. Those people, and that is what's going to differentiate a good lawyer from the best one. Because those people are placing their lives in your hand. You need to understand when they're scared. You need to understand what their fears are. Sometimes they're doing things that can hurt them because they're scared. And you need to have a lot of understanding about human nature in order to help them. So that is how you need to pick your lawyer. Call a few lawyers, talk with everyone, see who cares. If you can absolutely make that determination. I see with whom you're comfortable with. And then make your, of course you will check reviews, of course you will talk about his success rate and check all that. But on the end of the day is your comfort. It's like you need to be able to talk to this person, and that person needs to be there for you.
So that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot, as I could call it, inside info. But it's difficult when you go there. Lawyers are. You show up, you feel like when someone's like that talkative, that has so many fancy words, she'll show up over there and you're like pretty much shaking. You're like in front of the judge in a way when you speak to like a lawyer, and it's not supposed to be like that. It should be more. If
you feel like that, turn and leave.
That's what I'm saying. But you can be overwhelming because you come in, let's say you're immigrant, you come to American guy and it's like, oh yeah, $600 an hour. Okay, sit down, let me give you some advice and stuff. And it can happen. You'll be like, oh, he's good, but I can't afford him. But you don't have so it's just the money side. Also, lawyers can be brutal, but that's mostly for corporate, I think. The immigration law is, I can assume, it's a little bit different. It's different, and also,
whatever the legal fee is, different lawyers have different fees. The legal fee shouldn't be a deterrent for you to get a good lawyer. That lawyer is going to help you get your dreams. Basically, he's going to make you make life decisions. No amount of money can pay for that. It's anyway, whatever the fees are, they're not life-changing fees. It's not like you're gonna spend $10 million and that those $10 million will change your life. So
I remember I was in a conversation with a long time ago, and then she's like, "Oh, consultation was free. You come in, and then a couple hours. It was 1 hour. 1 hour we talked, and then she says, "Oh, I need." It was like $400 or $5 an hour. Okay, I need 4 or 5 hours. Some might be like, I'm forgetting it right now, but to just review that, actually to start review, and then I might need I don't know how many hours I will need to review the whole thing and decide, am I gonna take? So you can just say I come back and you say, oh, I took 30 hours. How do I know how much you work? So is it like the billing hours? She's like, oh yeah, that's it. She just doesn't care. I'm like, what do you mean? So she can say, okay, you owe me $15,000. I don't want to take your case. This is the receipt. So it's difficult. You can manage those situations.
So believe it or not, lawyers are guided by strict ethical guidelines in terms of charging and charging money for a case. They need to justify every single hour that they spend on the case. Literally, I think that the rule is you need to justify the hour in intervals of 15 minutes. So it's crazy. Like there are a lot of rules that are guiding the legal profession. So whatever someone is, I think that maybe there are lawyers who overcharge, but whatever most of them will charge is justified in terms of what they've done. But you can also, when you go to a lawyer, you can ask, like, are you charging a flat fee for this, or you're doing it by the hour? For example, our firm is flat fee based. So when I tell you that this is $1,000, this is $1,000. This will not cost a penny more. That regardless whether I'm going to spend 40 hours or 160 hours on your case.
That's way fair. You say, absolutely, I'm going to take the whole thing, and then I'll help you. So you don't have to be like, I don't know how much it's going to cost me.
Absolutely.
And it can be, it can extend. Who knows what can happen? You have to do appeals. Sometimes you make a mistake probably, and you charge people less, and then you're stuck with it for a few years. You can, and you still charge your fee, but that's also fair from your side.
Right. So thankfully, so far we haven't done any mistakes like that, but also it's up for me. I've seen lawyers who made the mistake and charge their clients, and according to me, that's unethical. Absolutely. So if you make a mistake, at least tell the client that you're going to fix that mistake for free.
So tell me, recently, we had a government change, and so every time America is big, when, let's say, we go Republicans, Democrats, different president, how did that affect? Do you feel any difference last couple of months since the change, or recently, or what has changed? Well,
immigration was major issue for this administration. So now they're instituting a lot of changes. Some are good, some are bad. Right now, what we are seeing is that immigration rules are tightening all across the immigration spectrum. I personally disagree with that. I think that this country needs immigrants, and yes, it should be decided on case-by-case basis. We cannot say all Venezuelans are bad. I think that everybody agrees that those with criminal records should go.
No, that's of course. It goes without saying completely.
The point is not to abuse the system, and always. So removals and deportations are not something that this administration has invented. It happened. So one of I think that the president with most deportations so far is Obama.
Yeah, no one knows that actually. Yeah. The people think no one even imagined he's the one. Yeah. Who did the most.
And nobody made a big fuss about it because, if you're illegal here and you don't have a legal way to stay in United States, you're going to be deported. That's like in any country in the world. It's nothing new. But the point is, if people have a way to stay, which we call a relief of removal, then they should have the opportunity to present that. And an independent arbitrator to go through that and decides whether these people can stay in the United States. What I don't like are the generalizations. We're going to go after these people, that people.
That's extremely bad. Anyhow, it just changes. All these changes, you have a lot of cases happening.
Right.
You're seeing delays, you're seeing a percentage of decisions going in a people's way. What are you noticing any difference recently?
Yeah, there will be delays. So what now we're looking at, again, all the cases are going for an interviews, which means that there will be delays. There are not enough officers. There are a lot of cases.
But it was different recently, right?
It was different because I think that approximately 2 years ago, they decided that cases that are being well prepared and they seem legit will not go for an interview in terms, for example, for the marriage-based cases, they're giving them a conditional green card. I was the big supporter of that decision because you're giving them something that's conditional. They have 2 years, and after 2 years, they're filing to remove those conditions, and then that case is being re-adjudicated.
And they can get permanent residence, a green card afterwards
if they comply with the regulation,
which is fair. Trial period, you got 2 years. Let me see how you're going to do.
Correct. Why overburden the system when you see that everything is fine? Now, I think that everybody will go for an interview. That will slow down the adjudication process because there are a limited number of officers. Apart from that, we'll see what other changes are being made in terms of the employment base. We are not looking at right now. We're not seeing any differences. But I think that the system should be allowed to work.
Yeah, you don't want to just overburden the system. Especially, it should be. I know it's a lot. Who knows how many applications? We don't even know how many applications. How much work is it?
Once I read that UCS is receiving annually 9.8 million applications. 9.8 million.
And that's not application like, oh, you apply for ID, you go there. It's just like, oh yeah, fill your information, where you live. And even that, it's a process. I can imagine how many different, and how many people they have working. It's not.
I think it's tens of thousands, but not enough. Not nearly enough to handle all those that caseload.
And plus backlog from back.
Very true.
So how many millions of cases?
And that is only in the internal immigration service in the United States. Imagine the consulates all around the world.
People trying to get it's beyond reason. Still, America can afford quality people always. There's room. There's things, everyone needs people if they're improving,
Now more than ever, we're living in increasingly challenging world. Now the AI is coming. Of course they need engineers. Of course they need smart people about it. It's a new era.
Yeah, it's completely different. But how many people actually go through the process? Let's say you start a process and it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and you're like, okay, it's not worth it. I'm just gonna. Actually, do the people all of them just push through until they get rejection notice from back home and from here?
Right. So I think it's a human nature to a point. Like when you are 2 years deep into the procedure, you say like I'm gonna see it to the end. Of course, there are a lot of cases where people are saying like, okay, no, I'm not gonna do this. I'm waiting for a very long time. Life circumstances change, and they need to go back. There is that as well. The hardest part for any immigrant in the United States is that when they start the procedure, it takes too long to get a travel permit. That increases the stress from the immigration procedure tenfold. Why? Because I don't understand why why it takes so long to get a travel permit once you're in a procedure, because that will reduce the stress. You will go home, you can see your family, you can come back while you're in the procedure. But it is what it is.
Yeah, but that human aspect, they do care, but it's just paperwork. We think, I was like, oh, they don't care. It's not the thing. They have so many applications. It's bureaucrats, like tax. They go through the paperwork, they look at, there's emotion. Well, probably it's still a human doing the thing, but it's mostly technical things. You go, and then there might be some, if you go on an interview, there's probably some emotional aspect too. But it's mostly just going through the paperwork, making sure everything is all right. What's the thing that people going through any kind of process, I was like, oh, I didn't see this coming. Or they say, oh, this is unexpected. Is there anything like that?
We try to cut the surprises down to a minimum.
It's still, I can imagine.
Yeah, but also it can always happen. So you can always get what the government is calling request for evidence, basically asking for more evidence for things that you already submitted, or maybe sometimes in many situations they have a legitimate reason to do so, but that can slow down the process as well. In terms of we're trying not to have unfair surprises. But but sometimes it happens.
Yeah, it's difficult to explain to everyone. Oh, this you can tell them there's like probably you have a script. You can say like this. You already have all of that, but it's always something new can happen unexpected.
That is why we're telling our clients we need to know everything. Like I don't want any surprises because they will know.
People are not always perfectly honest. We all know that. So
of course.
How difficult makes that your job? Your job
a lot. In some cases, a lot. Because
then you get surprised. That's the worst part. If a lawyer gets surprised,
very true.
Then how are you going to help them? If they don't, even if you know everything, still there has to be something. It's difficult to manage the case. And if they throw something at you out of nowhere, and then even you're shocked, then you have to react. Then it makes it really difficult.
Exactly. That was why I'm saying we are urging everyone to tell us everything. We have a good communication and working relationship with our clients. And they're trusting us and in like 99.9% of the cases, they're telling us everything. The problem, the situations where we have a problem is when the client thinks that something is irrelevant. So that's why
this is fine. We don't worry about this part. This is okay.
Correct.
They assumed.
Right. that is why like in many cases, like I'm telling a client, I need to know everything. Even if you think that is irrelevant, like I'm going to be the judge of what's relevant, what's not. Just tell me everything.
Yeah, that's so. I can't imagine how many different stories you work. You have like 10 people, 15 a day or 5. You talk to all of them, and then it's different stories. You just processing all the different. I can't imagine how it's like psychologists. They see 10 people, but they go to see a psychologist. And the end of the week, they go to talk to someone too.
Right.
So I can imagine what a lawyer sit down to share the stories. what's happening. That's,
Yeah, sometimes we ventilate.
sometimes you have to. You gotta burst. But also just the helping people part. And you understanding that, and it makes it really like. Imagine interviews and whatever happens. Stressing out. People don't know what they're getting themselves into. You have a lawyer, probably that makes them feel better.
Absolutely.
Some people can't afford it, which is also understandable. I noticed in America, a lot of friends and a lot of people said, pay your lawyers. And I realized myself a couple of things, because it's just, you can't. There's a person who went through so much and learned so much, so he can do that properly. You can't be showing someone with a small amount of knowledge more than you is gonna.
I will give you a practical example from my own life. Like when I was buying a house, I got a property lawyer. I am a lawyer. I can do that. But I'm not going to pretend that I know more than a property lawyer who does that every day, who is doing that every day for 20 years. So I got a property lawyer. I paid him. He did his job, and everything went well.
He specializes. He knows it. You don't want to be like, oh yeah, I like America's like pay the guy. Always pay the guy. It doesn't matter whatever, because while he's doing that, you can do your own thing. You can still make money.
Correct.
You're not like sitting at home, whatever. So you're not trying to fix the roof, but we're used to fixing everything ourselves. So you're trying to do everything, and then you pay 5 times that price later because of the mistake you make.
Yeah, not for life-changing decisions. Immigration, also other areas of law.
It's really, you gotta be extremely careful.
Yeah, don't try to spend less. Try to get the best advice possible, because on the end of the day, your lawyer is having your back. That's why you're paying him.
And lawyer, it doesn't matter. Even I'm not experienced with it, but even let's say you see the shows, you see things that happen. Lawyer there to defend you. It doesn't matter if you're guilty or not. He's there to help you. You're paying him. He's showing the law is on your side. He's not like against you. If you tell your lawyer something, they can only help you, because he's not allowed to share that information.
Right.
So he's there to help you, whatever happened, if he took your case.
Exactly.
If you're perfectly honest with him, because then there's something else.
Right. So if you have a good lawyer, you have someone in your corner, always someone that is here, and he's watching your back on a professional level. So that's a whole another layer of defense that you're having there.
Yeah, that's something. Especially you go to courtroom. Remember that? What was that thing? Good lawyer knows the law. Great lawyer knows the judge.
Yeah.
So does that make sense?
No, not in the United States.
Yeah, but also it's like, I don't know if I hear about.
Basically, they're saying that if the judge knows that you're a good lawyer, then the relationship changes and that helps your case. I guess it does. In terms of that, the judge will be more inclined to hear what you have to say. But also, we are fostering that kind of relationship with our clients, where I want them to call me before something happens. Ask me for an advice before you do something that can hurt your case. And that is what happens in 99% of the time. They're calling us, can we do this? Can we do that? Which is perfect.
Yeah.
Then I can prevent.
Prevention is that's the best way.
Right.
But you have, when you work from out of Chicago the most, right?
Right.
So let's say some immigration lawyers, they were previous to immigration judges, they go back and forth, or attorneys, whatever they did before something. And so do you get personal relationship with immigration office, they know you? So as a quality lawyer that you have approval of the most cases you get, let's say 100%, for example, 95, 98, doesn't matter. And do they recognize, okay, he's not going to take the case that's bad. He's just going to take a quality case. Is there any relationship like that?
So I cannot say that with any knowledge that is true, but yeah, I'm sure
mutual respect for that.
Absolutely, let's mutual respect that is building between a lawyer and an officer in years of practice. So I think that when they see a case from a lawyer that they know that it's a good lawyer, they were okay, I'm still gonna check the case, I'm still gonna do my job, but I know that this has been done well.
Okay, that's great, because also that helps people out with picking up the good lawyer. How many? Right. What's the rejection rates on the cases that you don't take?
After we take the case in the family-based area, we're 100%. We have never lost a case.
That's amazing.
In employment-based area, we have from 99% approvals. It happened last year for the first time after 5 years, after 4 years, and 6 months, we actually had denials, 2 denials, and that's why we're at 99%. But we have over 2,000 clients, and we are at 100% with the family-based, 99% with the employment-based.
That's amazing. How many cases you reject when the people come to you and they present their stuff? How many people, percentage-wise, you don't take?
Unfortunately, so it's a low percentage. Unfortunately, there are some cases where we cannot help.
Yeah,
And we are honest about it. I cannot do anything for you at this point. Maybe another lawyer will have a different strategy about it, different opinion. But if your case gets to a point where it's so messed up that I cannot help you, that's a be worried. Like that's a big cause to worry. 99% of the cases we can do something in them. Some are more complicated. Some people are coming later than they should. Some people are coming on time. But that is why I'm saying when you come to the United States, first call a lawyer. And when you try to think about what can I do here, call a lawyer. Don't go with, I know that you have everybody has good friends. They want to help you. They don't want to mess up your chances. They just want to give you their story. But in many of those situations, even they don't know why they got what they got. So don't go to a restaurant. Don't go to Kafana and ask a question.
Yeah, that's just.
Yeah.
But American thing was also every American was the thing, has a lawyer, has an accountant, has every psychologist. They all have a person. You have someone to specialize in something. I remember one of my friends was. First year we moved here, so he had some scooter trying to fix it. And it was like, it's $100 to fix it with the guy. I was like, no, I'll buy myself $50. And then he blew out the whole thing. Then he's like 500, and he lost 2 days trying to fix it. And nothing worked. Next time, pay the guy.
So the biggest mistakes that I've seen in my career so far came from people who would start the conversation with, "My friend told me so."
My friend, that's you always someone better advice. There's someone that knows something. I'm always afraid of people that think they know everything, and that's especially things they're really. How do you know that? How are you a lawyer? Because it's so many things. Law in America is small, fine print. Whatever you do, you're like, oh, you sign a rental agreement for your apartment. It's like a 10-pager. Then you have to, who reads to it? You just, initials, and they can put like, you're giving me your life, or where I own you right now. If it's legal, it's not legal, but you can just write off on it. So
right. No, we're like joking in the office that on our hair, we should put a billboard saying, "Call us before you could speak with your friends."
That's just cool.
Because then I can help you. I can help you in advance. I can help you plan. We can make a plan of, I'm going to tell you what is the legal way to do things.
Yeah.
When you get out of status, then things become harder. And also the asylums. Oh my God. Don't do the asylum.
And that's such a big thing. I heard it. So
tremendously bad idea.
People do that.
Yeah. Tremendously bad idea. I've managed to dissuade, I think maybe 500 people so far to do stupid things like that. You're still not
doing a great job. There's way more. There's still people. It's from what I know, I haven't met anyone in a long time doing that, but it's a almost impossible process, and it's kind of easy. You just okay, let me do this quick, and I'll focus something else later on. Correct. You're making yourself a bigger trouble. Eventually.
You're getting benefits faster, but then you're gonna pay for all those benefits.
That's the worst.
That's the worst.
That's the worst.
So from all those 500 people that I managed to dissuade, I think that maybe 350 or 400 have green cards now. They're like, "You saved my life." Because you called me on time. If you file that, and also you always use a lawyer. If you decide that you're gonna go with your asylum plan, call a lawyer. Ask, are you a licensed lawyer? If he says yes, then
they go with it.
Yeah, try and do the case. If they say, "Look, I'm not a licensed lawyer, but I can do this," he can't.
That's crazy. So how do you? How long have you been in the United States?
5 years. No, 7 years right now.
7 years. So you go back right now, and then you meet your friends from 7 years ago, the lawyers, your coworkers. How do you think you changed, or did they stay the same? Of course, everyone was evolving. It's a different after doing all this here.
Well, I went back. The last time that I was back in Macedonia was 2022. So a lot is the same, but I changed in terms of like I have wider understanding of things now. So I have first in Macedonia we are practicing civil law system like any other country in Europe except Great Britain. here we're practicing the precedent system, which is the common law. When you have knowledge of them both, you can make comparisons. I think that when I went there also, I've grown so much in terms of personal growth, knowledge wise, and this United States so far, and all this experience here was like life-changing for me personally.
Yeah, I can imagine just going through for everyone. You just coming here, everything is big, newer, a lot of new things to learn. And you went also through the school system. Most people don't go through it here, so you get to feel the American like school system, and people, especially that's another level. You're in the law school. Law school, that's not like 19-year-old that people partying. You got maybe even 40-year-olds or 45, 90 to 28, 25, different ages of people, which are already like professionals. They're high level and they're trying to elevate themselves to become a lawyer. So
exactly, they're already competing there. The legal system, especially law schools, they're inviting students to compete. They're
training you for that competition.
Very true. So all students, especially the American students who go through the traditional law school program, every year they're interning with other companies. They're preparing for real life, and it is a fight. Who will get a better internship? Who will do better in classes? Who will get better grades? And that competition then turns them into lawyers and people that can help.
Yeah, that's practice. So I don't know, you went to law school, but I don't think we practice that much back home at all. It's mostly just a study. You probably have something.
Very true.
But here is mostly like hands-on. Let's go tackle, argue the subject. Even kids in elementary school, high school, they have like debate classes. I never know what that is.
When I studied back home, internships were like virtually non-existent. Like, you can do it if you can find one by yourself. Nothing that the school fostered, or nothing that the school have invited people to do.
They don't facilitate anything. You have to figure out yourself if you want. And then if you get that intern, it's not like maybe what you want. You're just doing some paperwork, or
exactly,
as we say, always a couple of years, and you push just fucking documents around the place. Go do this, make some coffees and stuff. That's what you do for 2-3 years.
Correct.
Here's more hands-on. They need you here. It's like
also the law firms where you go need to have a system to handle those interns, right? So if the intern comes and nobody pays attention to him, this is ridiculous, right? He's there for nothing. It's futile. But if they have a system, then they will have a mentor, and that mentor will make sure that he is busy, that he learns, that he does from the simplest to the more challenging
which is
stuff.
America. That's definitely the case.
Right.
So tell me, I mean, I always mention with people, American dream. I always joke with people even here when they're like struggling. I'm like, this is what you sign up for. That's the American dream. So everyone was like, start laughing. I make them laugh because I know they really thought about that, and some people fulfill it, but everyone's different. What was it for you, and did it change over the course of the last 7 years?
Actually, my only dream was to practice in the profession that I've chosen. I'm thrilled that I have been given the opportunity to do so. When I came here, my only goal was like to pass the bar exam, to become a full licensed lawyer here, which I did. Then the system, first of all, this system granted me the opportunity to take the bar. So I'm an international. When I took the bar, I was only a year in the United States. So that is the openness that I love about this country. They gave me the option. They will give you the opportunity. Then many people don't understand that. They will give you the opportunity. It's up to you whether you're going to take it or not.
That's amazing. That's really put right. That's how it is. They give you. They need you.
Right.
They want to see, okay, can you do a job for me?
Right.
They don't care. I mean, they care about your degree and stuff technically, but even if you're never a lawyer, back you can say, I was from Angola, I was a lawyer there. You come here, if you study for a year and you pass the bar, you're like, okay, you're a lawyer. You know your things.
Right.
You can't just pass the bar,
right,
just finishing school.
So they gave me the opportunity, so I took it. And it was been a hell of a ride since then. I'm enjoying it every day of my life. Now we are growing, and we hope to reach as many people as possible. And I'm seeing every day the changes that I'm making in people's lives, and I'm grateful for that opportunity. America has given me that opportunity, essentially.
Yeah, that's I mean, especially right now expanding. You said Chicago and New York.
New York now hopefully Miami.
And it's a different clientele. So you deal with different cultures. You go from Chicago. We know it's a big our community. It's a Balkan community. It's big in Chicago. Now you're in New York. Of course, another big. Yeah. But you get different people too.
Absolutely.
Miami, you got a lot of Hispanic. Plus, it's really and working with different cultures. What do you notice the biggest difference between them?
The biggest clashes, the cultural clashes that I've lived to see is when you're dealing with the Indians and the Asian population. It's absolutely our culture. It's for them. It's like too foreign. We are warm. We are warm in terms of like we like to talk. We like to joke. When you deal with those populations, it's a lot more formal. How can I? It's a huge clash of worlds. So we are always trying to find a common ground where we can approach them in terms of like for them to open up to us, to tell us things that we need to know to do our job. But sometimes it's challenging.
It's challenging. So but what's the percentage of clientele you have outside, like the Asian people? Say
I would say around 10%. 90% we are on the European community.
But still, it's a decent percentage. So it means you don't, even if you don't think you're facilitating a good relationship, they still come to work with you.
It's a process. So we've been on the market for 5 years now, and right now all those people are like the word is spreading that we are here, and sometimes it's easier to that word to spread in the European community where we are, but the Balkan and the European community where we are much closer in our mentality, and it's a lot harder for them, for example, the Latino community, to find out about us, and it takes a lot more time. But yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, that's great. That's amazing. Also, we mentioned asylum. Is there any recommendation or something that's happening in the future, what you noticed happening that people should be extra careful and think about twice?
Yeah. First recommendation is don't do it. Please don't do it.
But any other visa
absolutely
types?
Right now, I suspect that the next big shock that this administration will do is not just tighten the asylum conditions, but they will increase the speed of it. They will make it faster. They will want all those people with invalid claims, with claims that cannot be approved, out of the country. That's why I'm saying, like, you're not going to accomplish anything. You're just involving yourself getting yourself in a deeper trouble, because guess what? Once your asylum case is denied, guess where you're going? You're going in removal. You're going to the court.
Also, that's of course stands for people who don't actually have the quality asylum case. There's some people actually. So
far, I've read a statistic that says that UCS approves 3% of the asylum.
If whatever you want to do, 3%. Come on, that's.
Why would you do a case when you have 3% of success rate?
No, but I'll worry about tomorrow. I do something right now, be okay, and it's fine. Someone else, worry about that. So that's crazy. So any other policies like the visa, or you think it's difficult? People should be more extra careful.
In terms of traveling, yes, depends on how, when you travel, when you come, for example, on a tourist visa, yes, the officer, if he suspects something, you need to know that he always can turn you back. So the tourist visa is a sort of a privilege. It's not a right. You don't have a right to be a tourist in the United States. It's a privilege that the government is giving you to visit here. Be careful. Be careful in terms of how much time you're asking to stay. Sometimes when even if you're within the legal stay, that is suspicious for the officer for the next time. Like, you've stayed 4 months, 5 months, and then the officer is like, what have you been doing for 5 months in the United States? And then you have a problem.
Yeah, that's definitely, you have to have those, you have to be ready. People just assume they're given right or something.
Yeah.
Nothing is
But also we heard a lot of claims right now that green card holders are being turned back from the airports. No. So they did need to have, first of all, even if your green card is in jeopardy, you will need, the officer needs to allow you to get into the country and refer your case to the immigration court.
And you have a lawyer too. You can
Absolutely.
You can call the lawyer, and he can help you with your right, whatever. You have some rights.
They cannot take away your green card at the airport. It doesn't work like that. Second, the officer has to have valid reason to suspect whatever he suspects. It's not an arbitrary, like, I don't like you. You're not. I don't know. You look too good. You look bad. Now I'm gonna take it out on you. No, but that's what I'm saying. For the green cards, I don't think that there are any cause for concerns unless there are cause for concerns. That's something that the officer knows.
Yeah, something is.
If you have a problem in your case.
If you have, let's say, we mentioned a couple of things that you don't recommend to people, but you meet someone, you have 30 seconds. Give me some best legal advice you have right now. What would you recommend? Stay legal. Ask for a lawyer's advice when you're making your options, and then decide what you're going to do. So that's really important. People don't think about it. They just like, let me get it and then I'll figure it out. They just push the problems. They want to tackle it right now. And that's the worst solution to everything. Definitely. But most people do that. That's the worst part. Or ignoring the mail. When you get something from immigration, don't ignore it. Any mail, I think ignoring it, it's a good way. But that's great. I mean, I'm happy we did all this, and I know you're going to be in Miami mostly. So in the future, we can get some more experience, and let's see how when you become a local here. Are you going to move here, or are you going to go back and forth? There will be a lawyer who will work here full time, and I'm going to travel. Oh, that's good. But you'll be spending hopefully more time in Miami. Yeah, not a bad balance with Chicago. Right? Yeah, I hope that from January to March I will be here. Chicago is too cold. Even longer. I think if you push it to May, June, it's great. Right. After that, it's just going to be soaking. But like me and Chicago, we have this love-hate relationship, and I adore Chicago. Like, I'm in love with Chicago from April until January. Oh, that's great. Are you good? After the New Year's holidays, then it becomes a little bother. I'm like angry to the city with the city. Oh, come on, it's cold. It's just freezing. You can't do anything. You're stuck at home. Sometimes you have to. Exactly. There's nothing you can help. Yeah. So, is there something you missed? You want to add, maybe, or? Well, I think that we covered about everything, and we're gonna be. We are hoping to be here from May. And offer our services to the I'll leave community. Your information or your company. I'll put everything in the description video, so people will look you up, ask for some legal advice, or reach out to you. Is definitely gonna absolutely. And the only thing that I need to add, I will not add actually. I will just repeat. Like, first, always consult with a lawyer before you make any decisions. Ask the person who says that he knows or she knows whether they're a lawyer, and then ask for their advice. That's because the most problems are coming from people who are absolutely not licensed to do so. Yeah, that's a great advice, and you hopefully everyone listen follow his advice. This definitely will. All right, amazing. I had a great time. It was really fun. Hope we do this again soon. Appreciate you. Thanks for the invitation. It was great to be here. All right, thanks so much. Thanks.